Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander. Here we are, opening weekend of Marvel's latest release, The Eternals. I just got home. As you can tell, I'm still wearing my coat and scarf because it's still cold, but I needed to get these thoughts down before I started thinking about it too much because there's a lot to think about. There's so much to think about. But basically, so if you saw the thumbnail, if you saw the description in this video, overall, I really like this movie. But I am also recognizing that this movie, just its existence, is going to piss a lot of people off, which is kind of great, kind of sad at the same time. But yeah, so as I'm watching it and things are happening and they're unfolding and I am enjoying myself, I'm thinking, what is it that's repelling people? What are people not connecting? And I think I have theories. I've got lots of theories. And the fact that I have so many theories is why I think people are hitting a wall when it comes to the Eternals. So basically, there is a lot in this movie. There's so much to unpack. I can't even think of where to begin. But there's a lot of layers. And if you are not prepared to keep track of so many threads, it's going to make your brain hurt. And I have so many analogies as well to describe this movie. It's almost as if somebody took a bowl to fill with candy and they put M&Ms, plain M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, and Skittles all in the same bowl. Some people are going to love it and some people, their heads will explode. And I think that's the problem with this film. So at the heart, at the core of the movie, it is about family. It's also about humanity. And it's about faith. And sometimes those really blend together. And sometimes those storylines bounce off and fight. Also going on at the same time, you've got a storytelling that is very all over the place. We get a little bit of info dump beginning, then we get some story, but then we also get more backstory info dump. And you're like, okay, because seriously, the first half of the film is just setting up who we're paying attention to. That's, I'm thinking, a good chunk of the film. And then you get some action at the end. So there's this kind of back and forth bouncing. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, wow, I think this would make a better miniseries where we can really take time to explore all these little things that we're just getting snippets of. But at the same time, I'm also thinking, I'm glad it's not a miniseries because I want all this information now. I don't want to spread it out. I want it now. Sometimes that hurts and sometimes it helps because we do get a lot of info dump. Like the whole Kamal character, that's basically all he's doing is he's telling you what we're supposed to pay attention to and why this is cool and why it's not cool. Sometimes they make it humorous, but sometimes it's a little bit jarring. And that's what this movie is. As I'm thinking about it, it's very much left brain, right brain. It's a lot going on at once. Me, myself, personally, I am straight down the middle, left brain, right brain person. I'm very logical about things, but I also have these extreme flights of whimsy. So this movie is my wheelhouse. I'm like, okay, I can pay attention to that, I can ignore that, and I can make it all weave together in this tapestry. It's not perfect. There's bits of irregularity to it, but I don't mind the nubby texture of what's left. And overall, I can enjoy it. A lot of people, I think, are not going to be able to do that, and they will be totally turned off from this movie. And that's completely understandable. This movie will not be everyone's cup of whiskey. Also, this is a Marvel movie that is not a Marvel movie. It doesn't feel like a superhero movie to me. It just felt like a high fantasy film, which, okay, fine. I wasn't sure what to expect going in because all I knew about the movie was from the trailers. So I kind of had an open mind. So the high fantasy-ish kind of concept, I dug. But it's so not, people are wondering how it's connected to the rest of the 20 plus MCU films. In reality, it's not really. And all the other little weird Easter eggs in it tell me it's not going to be close. It's not looking at the films of the past. It is looking to all these side films that we see coming up that we're going, what the hell? How is this going to fit in with those? I think this might be its own little entity. So if you're trying to figure out how it fits into the rest of the MCU, again, your brain will explode and it will hurt and you'll be disappointed because it's not fitting itself in there like it should. Because it's not at all. No, that may hurt some people. I did not mind. I personally did not mind. That's why I can live with it. But I understand why other people won't be able to do so. Visually, stunning. Everybody's acting great. The characters, that's another thing, is there's so many characters. And I don't think a lot of them had their place. Like even when you think about the Eternals themselves, what were their roles as Eternals? Some of their roles were to protect mankind from the deviants. Other roles were to help mankind grow and prosper and evolve. Some of them, I don't know what their roles were in that capacity. So I didn't really care about those characters very much. The main people, Sprite, Icarus, Ajax, no, Cersei, Faustus even, they are all the ones that had the most conflicting opinions. Even, I guess, Druig to a point had his own little conflicting opinion, and they all had very valid points about their motivations, and they weren't wrong. Some of them were more right than others. Some of them fit into the narrative a little bit better, but I like that they all had their own little points of view about why they were acting how they were acting. Great, bonus. But again, it's a lot of people, which made me think maybe this should have been a series instead of a movie. Hey y'all, yeah. I realized as I was putting the review together that there was some things specifically about the film that I wanted to mention that I totally and completely spaced about. So I'm going to do that now, hopefully clearly and concisely. Starting with, okay, we get way more intimate moments with these characters than we have in any other Marvel films. In the past, we've had a kiss here and there. This time, we're getting a really long smooching session between Icarus and Cersei, and I'm thinking, wow, this has gone on a little bit long. And then we segue into our first full-on Marvel love scene, which I found intriguing. But I had to really think about it, and it wasn't until this morning when I put together why those scenes were there. They didn't utilize them as best as they could, having to do with the ending. It was a missed opportunity, but I know why it was there. It just was not utilized to the best of its ability. We also had our first non-hetero relationship, and I loved it. It was lovely and delightful. Yes, please, about damn time. Now, going from love to war, the fight scenes were what you would expect from a Marvel fantasy movie. Really enjoyed them, and there was one in particular that really struck me, which was the one in the Amazon. Icarus is fighting a deviant, and there's this moment where you think, okay, fight, 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 here comes the death blow. And there's no death blow. And we're waiting for it, and then the music drops out. And it's just that fighting sound, the grunts, the laser beams, and I found it really gritty, and I loved it. I love that a lot. So very, again, something that I enjoyed about the film. Cersei, oh yeah, Icarus. Icarus's first appearance in London, hilarious. I laughed so hard. I'm pretty sure I was the only one in the theater laughing. It's hilarious. It's so cheesy. I loved it. Cersei as a character overall, I felt was the weakest. And I think it's because everything she approached was with the same level of etherealness, whether she was sad or angry, upset, or deeply in love. It was all the same one note. And again, when you find out the events, you know why. It just wasn't compelling though. So overall, she was the most wishy-washy of the characters. Sprite though, very intrigued by Sprite. I kind of wish they delved into that some more. But again, there was so much going on. We got a little taste of everything. Also, the movie trailer, I think, hurt this film overall. That's because there were scenes we saw in the trailer. And then we go to a movie that we did not know was not going to be told in a linear fashion. So as things are happening, we go, wait a minute, how can this happen? We know something else happens based on the trailer. I don't get what's going on anymore. So they set up their audience basically for failure. They gave them a different expectation than the film that they were delivering. So I believe the trailer really did hurt the film in the long run because it set up unrealistic expectations, or it made their audience work harder than they had to fill in the blanks. You had to be prepared to put in some work to the film, and not everybody's going to be ready or willing to do the work. I happen to be receptive enough to do it and fill in the blanks, but I'm not every audience goer. Also, something to keep in mind, this film was supposed to be released a year plus ago, way before the multiverse is a thing. So I believe time also hurt them. Something they couldn't control was when this film specifically, they couldn't release it when they would. So I think this also kind of suffered what like Black Widow did, where it's just the timing of this film was all wrong for what it wanted or hoped to accomplish. Again, not their fault, but that is something to keep in fact, that this film was supposed to be out a year ago before we even heard of the multiverse. So there we go. I do not know if these little details will help or hurt your decision making, but just something I wanted to add. So back to the rest of the review. But overall, I really enjoyed it. Am I excited about what they're going to do in the future? I don't know, because again, that's a big question mark of what is their future? Because they've got a storyline. We had the multiverse explode on us. This has got jack shit nothing to do with the multiverse. So again, you have to separate the entities, and this is the first movie that's really, and I don't know if that's, let me try to clarify that. Is the Eternals supposed to be their own thing and not fit into the MCU? I don't know if that was the point. If the point was to keep all the MC together like it has been for the last 10 years, this movie did not do its job. If this was supposed to be the first branch to really veer off and be something different, then yeah, it did its job. But we haven't been told which one it is. So I think, again, that's going to make people's heads explode, and they're going to try to fit it into a box it may not be intended to fit in. So, should you go see this movie? I thoroughly had a good time. I enjoyed myself. Your mileage may vary. So I would leave that up to you. I would say give it a chance. You might be pleasantly surprised. You may be severely disappointed, but it'll be a ride. It'll be an interesting ride. That is for sure. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Again, it's all over the place. I kind of dug that. But I can see where people are going. Missed opportunity, missed opportunity, missed opportunity. Again, it's very much right down the center, left brain, right brain, and that's my world. So I would love to hear what you thought of the film. If you got any enjoyment out of it at all, yeah, I would love to hear that. And thank you so much for spending time with me as I try to still unpack more and unpack more and unpack more. I would love to see you again because there's a lot more content coming out this month. Holy heck. And I would love to have you join me for that as well. So until next time, y'all.